Okay, so let's talk about climate change. This is lesson 3 of our climate change topic. And we're finally getting on to what climate change means. So our first lesson looked at types of weather and you made a My Little Book of Weather. The second lesson, you made up your own way of remembering the 5 different types of climate around the world or around Earth, which we remembered was a sphere shape, not flat, or a ball, because we used the correct terminology with Mobo does. But today we're going to talk about what the word or words climate change mean. All right, so I've got a bit of information for you today. And basically, since the 18th century, scientists were known as meteorologists, and basically they're like the people that that predict the weather and the people that we see on the news when they tell us whether it's going to be rainy or sunny and tell us what weather to expect in the next couple of days. Okay, so the people on the news tell us the weather, and there are people behind the scenes that study the weather. Okay. And these meteorologists, those people that study the weather, they monitor the weather and they record the weather. So it's science and maths all in one. And they make a record so they can predict what the weather's going to be like. And these records show that the Earth's atmosphere is beginning to get warmer, which is causing our climate to change. It's causing our weather to change. So from our video 2, you would have worked out that England, the UK, was part of a temperate climate. And what parents will probably notice, and maybe some of you, is that our weather is getting warmer and warmer. And therefore our climate is changing. And that's what climate change is. So this lesson is all about us becoming meteorologists. So I'm going to put that up here in brackets, just because that's a key word. So meteorologists. I'm going to put that there, and I'm not going to put it in brackets, I'm going to put it in a big bubble so we remember it. Meteorologists. And remember, those are those people that monitor and record the weather, and they're the scientists that have noticed that our climate is changing from a temperate climate because it is getting warmer. All right, so your task today is to do a week's worth of weather watching. And before we can start making our weather watching chart, we need to know about the types of weather that we're looking out for. All right, because there's key words for that. So I'm going to do a word mat here so we can look back at it when we do our weather watching diary. So we've got movement. All right, now movement is how windy it is. And I'm drawing this to represent a compass. All right, because you might want to go the extra step and decide that you want to tell me that the wind is going north. What's the next one? East, well done. Next one, south or west, excellent. So you might say, your diary might say that actually the wind there's a northerly wind today or a southerly wind today. So the movement is all about what direction the wind is travelling in. Okay, and you might have days where it's not actually that windy. Then we've got moisture. I'm going to put moisture up here. Moisture. All right, and moisture is, I'm going to put that in a cloud, whether it's rained or not. And it doesn't just have to be whether it's rained or not. Really, we're looking at whether it's foggy, if there's a fog. Is it mist? All right, so it's not actually rained, but it's foggy or misty. All right. We can also include whether there's frost and whether really, if it's rained or snow. Okay. Then we've got pressure, and I'm going to put that here, but this time I'm going to spell pressure going down. pressure. And I'm going to do an arrow that goes down. I'm going to do a few arrows. All right, because that's asking us, is it cloudy or are there clouds? Is it blue skies? All right, so it's telling you to look up at the sky. So we'll do look up at the sky. And the reason we look at pressure is because actually if there are clouds, then that leads to the thunderstorms and the lightning storms. All right. And then the final piece of weather that we're looking at is, if I do this sign or this symbol, and it's like this, and it's got this inside, what do you think this might be asked, this symbol might be asking us to look at? Yeah, you're right. Temperature. So temperature. So how hot or cold it is. And we always record this using this symbol. So if today is, I think it's something like 24 degrees Celsius. Okay. So now we've got the 4 weathers that we're looking for. We need to make our weather map. Okay. So I'm going to put that here. Oh, where am I going to put it? I'm going to put it here, and then we'll just have to keep coming back to it. All right. So what I want you to do is I want you to get a piece of paper. All right, a piece of paper like this. And on your piece of paper, you can fold it to make your sections, or you can just draw it using your ruler. We need a line across. So I'm just going to put that there. We need a line going across the top with my ruler. It's a slightly odd ruler today, but it was what I could find. Okay, so we've got our top part, and this top part is going to say my weather diary. All right, that's my title. Then I'm going to draw another line underneath, like this, and this is going to be our days of the week. So we'll start on Monday, but for me it's Friday today when I'm doing this, so I'm not going to start Friday up here, but I'm going to start Monday. So I'm going to leave a column here down the side because that's going to be labels. All right, but so we can put no, we'll leave that blank for now. So I'm going to say, Monday, Tuesday. Remember, we're spelling our days of the week correctly, because these are something we always have to spell. When we're at school, we have to write it every day. Wednesday. Remembering that Nes. Wednesday. Thursday. And Friday. Now I've missed the weekend out because you shouldn't be working at the weekend. If you want to do the weekend, then by all means do it. Okay. So you notice that I wrote the words and then I'm going to write my lines down, and that was to make sure that we had space. Okay. Using my ruler because we take pride in our presentation. Okay. So they're my columns. And then here I'm going to go back to our word map that we used, and I'm going to write or draw my symbols, up to you, the things that we're looking at. So the first thing that we were looking at was movement. So I'm going to pop that in here, movement. And I'm going to remember north, east, south, west logo, north, east, south, west. Never eat shredded wheat. It's my compass points. Okay, so I'm going to remember that. My next one we said was moisture. So I like a symbol, as you know by now. So I'm going to use a rain cloud. And I'm going to write the word moisture inside. Put that up so you can still see. So I've got my moisture and my movement. I'm going to write pressure here. And I'm going to draw my arrows going down to remind us what pressure means. And then temperature to help us spell it. And my thermometer there. And I'm going to put degrees Celsius there, just so we can remember. All right. And then what you can do, this is your weather diary. And all I want you to do is keep a log of it throughout the week. So as I say, I'm Friday today, so I'm going to start on Friday, but then I can go back to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and complete it at the end. So, sorry, we've got to finish our graph properly, our diary properly. We need to make sure that our sections won't get confused. So I'm going to draw my lines, and it doesn't matter that it's not equal. Okay, we're making it for purpose. Okay, this is almost part of writing, because in school we write different things for different purposes. So we are writing something for purpose. Okay, now that we know the types of weather, and we know that we are being meteorologists, we're being those people that monitor and record weather, all right, because we're looking to see whether our climate is changing, because this is all about climate change. All right, now we need to go and do some tests. So we're gonna move. We're gonna go out into the garden. All right. Now I've got my pen with me. I've got my diary with me. Let's go out. What does the sky look like? I'm going to write down here on Friday. Do it this way. On Friday, it's going to say some clouds, because it's only a little bit cloudy. And I'm going to write the word very, blue sky. Okay. There you go. Right. Now we want to have a look at moisture. It's not rained. It's definitely not rained. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go and touch the grass. Touching that grass. Okay, it's not damp. It's not wet at all. It's actually quite dry. Yeah? So those are those words that you're looking for. Is it wet? Is it dripping wet? Is it soaking wet? Is it just wet? Is it dry? Is it a little bit damp? I suppose actually in the shade it's dry, but here it's a little bit damp. It's a bit moist. So there's a little bit of moisture. So I'm going to go back to my diary, and I'm looking at moisture. And I'm going to go to Friday, and I'm going to say the grass has a little bit of moisture. It is slightly, because it's not very, moist. Okay, but maybe on Wednesday it's going to be dripping wet because it's been raining, or maybe on Monday it's going to be really, really dry because it hasn't been raining. Okay, what next? Temperature. Okay, so we don't have a thermometer here, because that's what this is, thermometer, but I can ask Alexa, or I can go on the weather app, and I'm hoping that you guys do have a thermometer. And actually I know that today, at this moment in time, it is 21 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to describe that weather, that temperature, as hot, with a smiley face, because I like hot. Okay, so that just leaves movement. Is it windy? How windy is it? Do we know if it's a northerly wind or a southerly wind? So actually, just being out here, I know that my paper has blown away a couple of times. All right, so I am going to say moderate winds. Okay, because if it was really windy, my hair would be blistering everywhere, or my coat might be rippling. Okay, so I might put high winds there. And if it wasn't windy at all, I would say no wind. Okay, and as I say, if you can find out whether it's a northerly wind or a southerly wind, or whichever way the wind's blowing, then that might be really, really good, and that would be a really good next step. Okay, so today we are weather watchers. We are doing a weather diary because we have become meteorologists, those people that monitor and record weather to see whether our climate has changed. Take photos, show me it at the end. I hope you enjoy it, and I look forward to seeing the results. Bye.